Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead, and today I'm going to attempt to make stuffed cabbage in the crock pot to go with the corned beef that's in the other crock pot. It's Slow Cooker Comfort Food Month. First things first, what we have here is a stock pot with some water and a wire rack in the bottom. You're going to need parchment paper, leeks, fresh or dry, garlic, mushrooms, onion, potatoes, and cabbage. Now first things first, this isn't going to take the whole cabbage, but what I really want to do is, you also might want a bit of cream, but we'll see, because using a lot of fresh vegetables is going to release a lot of moisture. And then we're going to start taking these large outer leaves and dropping them into our canning pot or our stock pot, because we're going to bring these up to a boil and we're just going to wilt them. Now, I don't know how many leaves I'm going to actually get, but let's hope it's enough. Because what I don't use of the leaves, I will use in another recipe. Let's try and see if we can get 2 more. I would go, now this cabbage is like a Savoy cabbage, and their leaves are a lot easier to harvest. See? Because they have more wrinkle to them, which means they have more play. All right, this is going on to boil at just enough to make these green and limp. And we'll continue to work. Now here, I'm going to peel potatoes for our, now I've done stuffed cabbage in the oven, and I poached the potatoes and all that lovely stuff. We're going to use raw potatoes. That's why you don't see me putting in any mushroom soup or anything like that, because raw potatoes, raw cabbage, raw onions going to make a lot of juice. So we have some tapioca starch. You can use cornstarch if you like, and if you want to make this a one-pot meal, you can go ahead and layer something in there, like ham or whatever, female bacon, you know. I don't necessarily remember the exact recipe I've done with this in the oven because it was a while back, but I'm curious as to see whether I can do a replication or something similar and tasty in the slow cooker so I can get back to work for the rest of the day. Okay, so here's our wilted cabbage. As you can see, it's just steamed enough to make it wilt. I'm going to drain the water off. Okay, so here we have our wilted steamed cabbage leaves. Let's get that out of the way. And first thing we're going to do is, I have lined this crock pot with some wet parchment so that it completely lines the bottom. If you want to use a crock pot baking bag, you go right ahead. I prefer parchment. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop, I just cut the very center of the coarse stem out, and we're just going to drape some cabbage leaves around the outside, leaving about a 2-inch drape, but make sure all your leaves overlap. So that worked out just right. But now we have a hole in the bottom, you see. Now we're going to make our bowl. And we're going to take one of our tighter leaves that came from the last, and we're going to drop that down in there. See what we're doing? And then I'm going to save the nicest leaf for the top, and the rest of these are going to go down in lining around our leaves that we have put down the sides. You see, now we have a bottom one. It can be fussy, but if you're gentle, this will work. Okay, now I have 2 leaves left. You see why I said overlap them across the top? Because some are going to pull down in. So now we are going to put some of our dehydrated leeks in the bottom. And a little bit of garlic flakes. And then I'm just going to start slicing potatoes. You slice them any old way you want. I just like them in a fairly good slice, but not too thick, because guess what? These have to cook. These are raw potatoes. And we just start filling up our bag of cabbage. Like I said, it would have been better if I'd had my potatoes ready to go, but live and learn. I've never done this before, so. Now where's our onion? If you can, just keep bringing the cabbage back up. I'm gonna slice a half a large onion, medium onion, I guess, depending on what you call it. And that's gonna go in on top of the potato. You see where I'm going with this? And then we're gonna do some salt or pepper and some salt and a bit of tapioca starch, because we want that to thicken up as it cooks. We want all that juice that these vegetables are going to give off. And now, drain our mushrooms. You can use fresh, but remember, the more fresh vegetables you use, the more liquid you're going to have in here. And I'm just going to dump that whole tin of mushrooms in there. And then some more leeks. A bit more garlic flakes. And this is one of the reasons I'm really grateful I have dehydrated leeks, because they're going to help with a lot of the juice. And then more potato. People keep asking me, oh, do you have any Instapot recipes, or do you have an Instapot? No. I have crock pots. I have pressure cookers. I have, everything. I don't need an Instapot. An Instapot's just one more thing I gotta store. Okay, and the last half of the onion. All on top of there. Now, a little bit more tapioca starch. Pepper. Salt. And on top of this all, I'm just going to sprinkle, I don't know, probably a half a cup of Parmesan cheese. Now, we are going to start, we're going to take these 2 last cabbage leaves, and we're going to tuck one See how this side's the shortest? So that's the side that's going to get tucked down the most. We're going to put that down in there, and we're going to fold all these leaves over top. See how we kind of rebuild a cabbage? Looks like a cabbage in there, doesn't it? And then I'm just going to put this leaf right over top, just like that. And then on goes. We want to keep as much steam in as possible. So I'm going to recover this with the parchment. And then I'm just going to tuck another piece of parchment over top. This is to keep the steam in, folks, because half the time my lids don't fit properly. This is going in the slow cooker all day, and we will see you at the supper table. Okay, let's have a look. Ooh. Be careful, folks. We have no idea what we're dealing with here. But I know it's bloody hot. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this to start things off. I have no idea how to do this, folks. I've never done this before. I'll put you back on the hot pad here. And, oh, I can't even get a grip on it. Okay, so here. All right, and I'm going to flip this back over. Thank you, dear. And let's see how our stuffed cabbage, oh my goodness. Look at this, Howie. Isn't that pretty?
Yes.
Yep. I think, ladies and gentlemen, we have success. All right, we're going to get the corned beef to the table, and Daddy and I are going to eat. What we have here is not your everyday corned beef and cabbage. This is obviously boiled corned beef. There it is. There. You don't need to cut that. It just falls apart. Yeah, I know, but you're not getting any.
Oh, she'll get it.
Okay.
She gets a little bit of everything I eat.
Well, that's true. You're not going to comment on the plates?
Very nice.
Well, you know what? What's the point of having a china cabinet full of nice dishes if you never use them?
That's right.
All right, now cut into that like a pie. Let's hope the potatoes are cooked.
They feel to be.
Okay, and then just take
Wedge.
a wedge. Yeah, I didn't add any soup or anything because I figured it was going to be moist enough with all the onions and potatoes and stuff. So this is stuffed cabbage from the crock pot. Oh, look at that beautiful picture.
Very nice.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Beauties.
I mean, why heat up the oven if I can do it in a crock pot?
Absolutely. Yes, Grace, your turn's coming.
Not everyday corned beef and cabbage.
No, that's awesome.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, dear. We'll try and do a repeat or something similar for St. Patty's Day. There we go. I just spoken like a true Welshman. This is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, yes, you can make stuffed cabbage in the crock pot. But today, I used 2 crock pots. See, 2 crock pots are always better than 1. Take care, God bless.